Hello and welcome to Unverified. I'm your boy Simba, joined by your three other beautiful boys. Connor, aka Conflict Strength. Connor, say something to the people.
Hi there. The soul becomes dyed with the color its thoughts.
Oh.
We've also got Isaac, aka Mechna Gamer, on the microphone.
Wait, this is a microphone? Oh, fuck.
Nice.
And last but most certainly not least, you have your beautiful, handsome, magnificent boy, Simi. But you may or may not know him better as Tamago2474. Yo, Simi, say what's up.
You know what, Simba? I appreciate the effort. And I got to give you 100% accuracy on those adjectives. You could have used some more, you know. Did you use intelligent?
I was just throwing out words. I was just throwing out words.
Sexy, gorgeous, humble.
I don't know if they were.
Just to name a few.
Okay. All right.
Simi, I mean, I don't think you meant any of those anyway, but sure.
Okie dokie. All right, well, Simi, since you're so flipping perfect, do you think you'd be amazing enough to date 7 people at once?
It would be a challenge, but I think I'd take one for the team.
What for what team, Simi?
What team? Well, I guess if you have 7 people, that's a team right there, right?
Who are you helping your partners?
I'm creating the team that I'm taking
Simi,
one for.
Get one more person. That's like a football team, dude.
You're right.
It's like a whole team right there. Yeah, but like dating multiple people, do you guys think you could do that?
No, not even for the moral aspect. Do you understand how much effort that is?
Mm-hmm. Simba, okay, I barely have enough time for myself, let alone one other person, let alone 2 other people. Like, that's just effort. Nah.
It's a time management thing, right?
Yeah.
That's a Monday to Sunday. Each one gets a day per week.
Yeah, no, Simi, like I was saying, she's been working with overtime.
That's assuming that she does it per day though. But imagine if she somehow splits each day to 7 people. That would be crazy.
No, that's just too wild.
If she had one day that she has all 7 at some point,
it's just too much.
I want to know her schedule.
Like,
I want to know her schedule. Because don't forget, when you're in a relationship, you need to, take care of yourself, make sure you're eating, make sure you're earning money. You also need to take care of the other people, be there for them emotionally every now and again, because, they might start saying things to you. And then at the same time, you also need to make sure that the relationship's working out physically. Now, if you're doing that with another person, that then increases exponentially. And then when you hit 7, it's just like, how do you have the emotional energy?
Hey, birthdays would be nice though, right?
Unless 2 of them have the same birthday, then your life is over.
But I meant that you're going to get like 7 gifts.
No, your birthday.
Oh, my birthday. Nah, that's even worse. All of them wanted to do something special. It's like, oh, listen, just celebrate my birthday 2 days after the actual day, okay? Just no particular reason. It's a Wednesday.
Celebrate all of my birthday at breakfast for this one person. All of them. Nah, how do you there's literally not enough time in the day to fit that in. That's crazy.
I mean, you likely have to choose like your favorite one, spend your birthday with that person, and then like to be able to go, oh yeah, I'm staying with my family or something.
Oh no, big brain. So what if it was a plan and she actually told them all it's a different birthday? Boom. Dunzo.
Oh no, Connor, see, I was thinking it was even milder than that. She was like, what if she invited them all to her birthday? So then none of them is like, oh yeah, it's just one-on-one. So they're all there thinking that, oh yeah, they're all just there as friends, but they're the real one. And then...
I feel like the only effective way to do it, if it's 7, I feel like the only effective way to do it would be to dedicate a day each. And you have to have a very good excuse to give all of them as to why you're not contactable for 6 out of 7 days.
I guess you could still be texting, right? It's just the texting is just a lot of work.
Simba, you need to be very careful with texts, because if you're with someone else and you get like a really sus text from another one, you need to hide that without making it look suspicious. Why you're hiding it? And that's times 6.
You guys are novices.
And that's
you start after like once you get to 7, you've got plans for that. You start changing the names of people and your fucking numbers. You tell them that you've changed their name because it's like a cute nickname you have, and you're just playing with them. You set different alert timers. You set different notification. You can set vibrate patterns on your phone, so when your phone vibrates, you know who's texted you. You know whether or not to check it. You know when to check it.
Got a point here.
You can change the color of your of your little actual LED light, so you know who's texting you, bro. There's strats.
I'm not sure why. I get the feeling like this has had some extra thought put behind it. I have a feeling this isn't a spontaneous plan.
I just came up with this right now, man. I'm one of those like on the fly dudes, like.
No. Simba's got a point. Like, if I was ever cheat on a girl, I'd probably change one of their names in context to one of your names, just because like I can justify like having some sus conversations with you people because I already have. So
no, you don't change it. You don't change it to a guy's name because you don't do that. You can have friends, you can have cousins. Just change it to something. Don't even change it to like a proper name. Change it to something that's like a nickname. It's something cutesy.
Bro.
Like for instance, I had a friend in sixth form that I ended up calling Mulan for the entire year that I knew her. Just because I decided, I was like, I'm not gonna remember your name. That was her name. You do that. It's like, oh, who's that? It's like, just a friend. Mulan could be anybody. Could be a dude.
Or you could change their name to like, I don't know, you call one of them Uber Eats, one of them McDonald's, one of them
Bro, why
Domino's,
is Uber Eats
Pizza Hut.
asking you what time you're going to be over?
Yeah, also, why'd you have Uber
Fam.
Eats' phone number?
Bro, Domino's asking me what time I'm going to be over. They're always texting, actually.
Yeah, Domino's low-key thirsty, I ain't gonna lie.
Domino's are wild.
Exactly. It's a good plan. It's a good plan. It's like, yo, why is Uber Eats sending you pictures? Oh, listen, it's just to see what the food's like. I gotta verify the
trying to
quality before they send it
Any
over.
girl listening that's currently dating Simi has now just realized they're good. Like, okay, don't worry, there's no problems here. He's one of them faithful dudes.
This new plan won't ever work.
Same for me, obviously.
Of course.
Mr. 9-step plan.
9-step plan. Yeah.
It's
no.
only 8 steps, Simi.
Listen, if you don't know
Oh,
about
sorry.
vibration patterns, LED colors, and changing names, I don't know, man. Like, what are they teaching at school, bro? I don't even know anymore.
Evidently not that.
Yeah,
Like,
what aren't they teaching at school?
One thing I wanted to find out as well, because I was having a conversation with one of my dear friends, and we were talking about the concept of dating. I came to realize that, I don't know, maybe the term dating might not have as definitive a definition as it has. Because I had one concept of dating, and the friend had a different concept of dating. And we were kind of coming to coalesce those two concepts. So I wanted to find out, what do you guys in your eyes term as dating?
Going on a date?
It depends on how you use the word. If you're saying, I'm dating this person, then I would assume that you two are in a relationship. If you say, I'm dating, I would assume you're going on dates with people.
Nah. Negatory.
Yeah.
So if you say I'm dating somebody, you think that's a relationship?
Yeah, if you say, oh, I'm dating someone, then I say, okay, you are in a relationship with that person. If you just say, I'm dating, like you don't say someone in particular, then I'll assume you're just going on dates with like different people.
But if I was just one of the many I was mentioning?
Well, I personally then wouldn't use the term I'm dating her. I would just say, oh, I'm dating and I went out with this person.
Okay.
You know?
What about the
I've
rest
been
of
on
you
a few
guys?
dates or something like that, right?
yeah, I mostly agree with Simi. I see once you say a person, you're like basically saying that it's a mutually agreed upon relationship between the two.
If
of
you're
you.
dating, just in general, you're going out for dates. If you're dating someone, then you're kind of officially saying you're dating, someone.
So if I said I'm
Solely.
seeing this person, you guys that would assume we're in a relationship.
Yeah.
See, now the thing is, I was thinking about the word seeing, and that has a bit of a nuance to it.
It's a weird
Has
one.
a bit of a nuance.
Yeah. It's a
But
bit of a...
generally, it can fall under the same thing. But if you use the word seeing, then I might be compelled to ask you, oh, okay, is this like a serious thing? Just to verify what you meant. Because it's just the semantics of language, isn't it? That one just has a bit more nuance to it.
Like, first go, I would probably presume that if you said seeing someone, I would probably assume that you're dating someone. Or going for a date, at least, either or. I wouldn't assume that you're in a relationship, though, not by saying that you're seeing someone.
Yeah, I would assume it's less like serious than if you said I was dating someone.
Yeah.
Same.
That's really interesting because for me, the words dating and seeing to me don't imply you're in a like relationship. Like if somebody said they're dating somebody, you would expect them not to be seeing other people, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because otherwise that's considered cheating.
For me, the stage in which seeing other people is not allowed is when boyfriend and girlfriend has been actually declared openly.
In a sense, I get that.
Like if I'm dating you, that means there's not a thing.
I don't know about that one, kiddo. I think you might need to be careful before you use that one around other people, to be honest.
Like that's good. That's something that could get you in trouble, but I get it.
Yeah,
I
You know
get
what?
what
But
you
the
mean.
thing is, the people I hang around with, this is the application. That's how it's used. That's how I'm used to it being used, is in that sense. Like, if you are boyfriend and girlfriend, you use we're together. That's the terminology for me. Like, if this girl's like, oh, we're dating, I'm like, all right, cool. And also with other people, right? Because, like, this isn't official yet. Like, it has to be, like, a statement. You can't just, like...
I don't think there's really a term for the in-between stage, and you appear to be applying dating to that stage.
Or at least
which
talking
is-
stage
No,
would be that
like,
sort of.
until you are boyfriend and girlfriend in my eyes, you're dating. It's fair game. It's open season.
Yeah. the difference between that and me is, I would say once you're boyfriend and girlfriend, you're dating.
Yeah,
you're dating, but to say that you're dating someone,
but the stage before boyfriend and girlfriend is dating.
You're going out for dates.
What is the process of going out for dates?
Dating people, but not the same person.
Yeah, it's all about whether you actually specify a person for me.
It is.
If I say I'm dating, I'm going on dates, whatever, and then if you were to bump into me, I would say, oh, I'm on a date with this person. It'd be awkward to run into a friend when you're on a date with a random person, but still, I'd be like, okay, I'm on a date with this person, right?
Yeah.
If that person's my girlfriend, I'd say, okay, I'm dating her. And then if you bumped into me, I would say I'm dating her.
I guess like if you mention,
I'm on a date with her.
I guess if like it's one of those things like if you mention it, like if I met up with Simi and he was like, oh yo, I'm dating this girl. And you specifically mentioned that girl as like, what's happening? You just said that girl. To me, yeah, that would signify that I guess you're in a relationship. But like, what if I asked you, yo, Simi, what's happening with you and X? And it was like, we're dating. To me, I'm like, oh, okay, they're just like nothing serious yet.
Nah, bro.
Okay, no, I kind of see where Sim's coming from. For me to be serious,
like if I asked him, yo, what's happening to you and this girl, it'd have to be like, oh, well, we're together, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. If he said dating, I'm like, all right, cool, it's chill. Yo, send me that number just in case it doesn't fall through.
So like, like I'm about to slide in.
That's an interesting thing. I feel like though, it's very unlikely you'd be in a situation where it wouldn't eventually get clarified. Like if we had a conversation like that, I feel like it would be natural to be like, oh, is that like a serious thing? And then you would find out like, what they really meant.
I was in the position of you wee young lads, you see, because when I was going out talking to people, that's how it was used, and it confused me. So I thought a lot of people were in proper relationships, boyfriend and girlfriend, when they weren't. And it was only clarified to me, because that's how it was used. It was just like, oh, we're just dating. That wasn't like, we're a thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, if they say just, then that adds more nuance.
If they say just beforehand, then that then means that, oh yeah, it's not much because we're saying just, so it's now a whole other
like,
thing.
Oh, we're
it's
just dating. It's like,
All right, well, another question.
Language is fucked, man. Language is fucked.
What's the earliest you would say boyfriend and girlfriend time?
Oh, that depends. That like fully depends.
Yeah.
Really? To be honest, there's no official time.
How many dates? Minimum.
Honestly, minimum is just 0. You could actually just decide after no dates, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend.
Nah, I can't play like that.
I'm not saying it would be a good idea.
Nah, man, I'm out here on that classic Wii Sports. Me's playing Wii Sports Resort. I'm not. I'm just staying there, keeping it simple. Nah.
No, but simple. Like, say like you've been friends for a while, basically. I'm like, not saying you should get into a relationship like this because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you've been friends for a while, and you decide to start dating. Like from then, I consider that you can consider just the next day. Yeah, we are officially a couple in a relationship. Like it depends, like situation to situation, in my opinion.
Okay, like, for me with that one, I would still need a declaration of boyfriend and girlfriend. Like it wouldn't just be a thing of, oh, when we go out, then yeah, just with that particular case.
I think you always need a declaration, right? You always need to be like...
No, I agree that there always needs to be a declaration. I say it depends on how quickly the declaration comes, which is why I'm saying it could be next day. Like
First date, I can't do that. I can imagine that.
Well, there's so many factors because it's like, it depends, like how much were you talking before the first date? It's like Isaac was saying, like, if it's someone you've known, then it's like there's nothing like that you're gonna learn about them in particular on a date necessarily that you don't know. The date is just you doing something together. I
disagree. Romantic relationships, platonic relationships are very different. There's a lot you need to learn about somebody in a romantic, like how they operate in a romantic relationship. If there wasn't that nuance and difference, then fucking friends would just be boyfriend and girlfriend super easy. There is clearly differences. I don't know, for me, I guess saying boyfriend and girlfriend is like, I'm giving up my options now. It's like I'm closing, like all doors are shut now. It's like I'm just with you for this point and till the foreseeable future. I'm like, I need more than one time of like being on a romantic date to let that set in stone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I get that and I do agree. However, I'm just thinking that I don't think that there's a minimum amount of time per se before.
I just don't think one day is enough. Because if you're about to go boyfriend and girlfriend, right? Things could happen, and this could be the person you marry. You could be stuck with this person forever. You need to know, like for reals.
But I'm considering marriage until it's been at least 3 months. So yeah,
I'm not considering boyfriend and girlfriend until it's been a month.
3 months.
Yo, y'all really playing these life different.
Wild.
Oh, he did say consider, to be fair. He just said consider, so it's alright.
Bro, I'm not considering until it's like a year, maybe 3.
I'm saying at least 3 months, and even it's like, bro.
No, man.
Here's something I will say though. You only know as much about a person as they are willing to reveal, unless you get a private investigator.
Exactly.
You could know someone. You could know someone for a month and know much more about someone else who you would know for 3 years. So in a sense, it doesn't matter as much how long you know the person. It's about how deeply you know the person, right? And you can get to know someone deeply if they're a very open person and they're comfortable with you.
Not in one
quite
date,
quickly.
though. Not in like one date.
Yeah, but it's just...
Date, dude.
I mean, I feel like it depends on how much weight you put on boyfriend and girlfriend.
Well, boyfriend, girlfriend is like, what? It's just us now. That's what it is. It's like, it's just us.
And that's
a lot.
And it can, I don't think that's actually a lot.
Really?
It depends. It kind of depends on your attitude though. If like keeping your options open is a really important thing to you, then it would be a lot. But if it's not, if you're the person who, if you were single, you already wouldn't be dating around that much, and you just found someone you like and they say, oh, I like this person, I want to date them, then you don't actually feel like you've lost anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess for me, it's just like, I like to always have the option. It's just like, I'm already really iffy about relationships as it is. I'm not really about, like, if I could avoid putting the boyfriend and girlfriend label for 6 years, I'd do it.
Whoa.
Bro, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm pretty sure if you try to dodge that, at some point she will just ask you, so what are we? And then and there you have to decide whether it's over or not.
No, that's how those conversations come about.
Yeah, and at that point I decided, and I think about it, and there's a good chance it might be nothing, and they'd be like, all right, that was fun. Just let it be.
Okay, you'd have to find someone who feels the same way about relationships as you then.
Not necessarily.
Like,
you just like...
Yeah, no, you probably would.
Well, okay, if you're concerned about the other person's feelings, you would have to. If you don't care, then maybe not.
Not even. It's just like, it just depends on how long you want the relationship to go on for. Like, if you don't give a shit about the relationship going on for, you might date for a month, have some fun, and then they're like, yo, I want to get serious. And I'm like, I don't. And then you just end it there. It doesn't matter if you have the same like feelings as you do. Maybe I'm an asshole.
That's interesting.
I don't know.
No. It's interesting, but it's something that's so interesting because it's like, as we get older, that is going to change, I feel. Because thinking of women, right? Like, we're all straight here, I think. If you're not, whatever.
Yeah, come.
But as you get older, like a woman, if they're thinking of starting a family, their priorities are gonna change, right? With men, it doesn't happen so much, but with women, it will change. And so that attitude is an attitude that can work in your early 20s. But I feel like as you get closer to 30, and if you're in your 30s, I feel like that's an attitude that won't work with most women who intend on having families.
Yeah, but it's like, it can still work. It just depends on how much you give a shit about losing more potential women. Like, it's about how much value you put on each person, I guess, personally. Like, I feel like it's more of a problem if you are also looking for something long term.
Yeah.
I think if you don't care about anything long term, it doesn't really fucking matter. Maybe it makes you a bit of an asshole, but
that's
we're in a grey area.
I kind of agree with Simba there, because like, even like, you know, if you decide to, like, even at the age of 40 or even 50, decide to go, oh yeah, you know, I don't really care about long-term relationships. Yeah, it does decrease the pool, but there is still a pool to choose from. So like, it's fine, but it can work for like your entire life. It's just whether you want to end up settling down at any point or not.
Yeah, exactly. Depends on whether or not you want to.
I agree with that. It's like what I said before, like, you just have to find a person with the same mindset as you. I don't think it will work with someone
with the same mindset if you want to like be dating multiple people while being with that person, but doing that for multiple years on with that one person. If you don't care specifically about just that one person, you don't need the same mindset. The minute they're not okay with what you're doing, you're just like, all right, cool. I guess that's it.
I think what Simi's saying possibly is that if you want to have a relationship where no one gets hurt at the end, then you need to find someone with a similar mindset. That's what I'm saying. That is actually what I'm saying. Because otherwise, you know, she's looking to get married, you're looking to have fun. After 4 months, you break up. She's there crying because she's wasted 4 months of her life, in your opinion, whereas you're still looking out for yourself.
It's about catching feelings.
It's for 4 months, and if you haven't asked me what's happening, this is on you.
Yeah.
Then there's also the thing of like, so you're leaving it up to them to question rather than being upfront. You know,
I get what Simi's saying. Like, can be kind of seen as kind of scummy, but at the same time, it's each person's responsibility to ask. Like, Otherwise, you assume that you're on the same wavelength. Like, I can't predict what you're thinking.
Yeah.
You could be thinking the same thing, you might not.
I'm a dude. I had to make the move to begin with, probably. So it's like, well, now you got to decide whether or not you want to make the move and ask the important question. Which, like, yeah, it can definitely be seen as a dick move for sure.
Majorly.
Like, I think it's pretty open. Like, you should tell people that you're not like super serious. And like, I'm not really super serious. You'll be surprised the amount of people who will be like, yeah, well, you know, they'll think they can change you.
they think, oh yeah, you have been serious about everyone else, but
it's like, don't worry, I'll make you serious. One, you know? And then 4 months on the line, they're like, so what's happening? It's like, I told you it wasn't happening. I wasn't lying. I was being honest, like for real. So yeah, like
honest,
like you said to me, it decreases your pool if you whichever way. But
yeah, but then there's also the thing of like, if you had the other mindset where it was like you were looking for something long term, the size of the pool almost wouldn't matter as much, just in regards to attitudes towards relationship. Obviously, there are other things such as just attraction and life goals or whatever. But if you're looking for something long term, I don't think you're too concerned with, at least at this age, you're not too concerned with the size of the pool. It's not something you really have to think about because you're not going to be at a loss or at a shortage, you know?
My thing is here, right? I think my strategy is actually a better long-term strategy than most people's strategy. Because I think the problem that people have with the way that they do it is you just like, you try dating a few people and you get to like the third or fourth person, you're like, all right, cool, get married, let's have some kids. You've only ever been in a relationship with what, 3 or 4 people now? It's like, you really have no idea what you're really into and what the kind of person you want. I'm about to make an analogy here that seems like I'm dehumanizing people, but it's just to get my point across. If you had only eaten, let's say, rice, I don't know, some fucking pasta, pizza, and lasagna, pretty good choices, by the way, pretty good foods.
Yeah.
Would you then be like, yeah, I'm gonna eat lasagna for the rest of my fucking life. I'm set on lasagna now. I know lasagna is good. I don't need anything else now. I know what I want. I like lasagna.
Some of this analogy breaks down when we consider long-term relationships, because at that point, would you ever consider only ever eating one thing for the rest of your life?
You try out a bunch of different things. You try a bunch of different relationships. You try a bunch of different personality types. So you figure out what your kind of personality tastes are, like what you're kind of interested in. You do that for like a few years, maybe 5 or 6 years, and you have a good idea of what you're looking for. And now when you go and look for a long-term relationship, you know exactly what you're looking for, and you have a much safer bet. Now, obviously, relationships are tricky and finicky, and you'll probably still get divorced anyways because that's life. But at least you have like a good understanding of what you're looking for. You actually know what you're interested in, and it's gonna make it much less likely you're gonna ask yourself the question of, can I do better? What else is there out there? Because you figured it out. You know what your better is. You know what else you can do with that, and now you know what you're looking for.
See, but and I do want a T-shirt saying that people aren't pasta, but I don't think the relationships can be applied the same way. Like the lasagna, that's always going to be lasagna, right? But like people change, people do evolve.
That's a big point.
And relationships amongst all of those evolve. Like I have a friendship group right now, and I ain't thinking, yeah, this is decent, but like, let's see if I can like get some, I don't know, some freaking crazy other people.
Okay,
I'm
just enjoying what I have right now.
With a friendship group, it's not like we're your friends and we're like, now you can't have any other friends. Now you're stuck with us forever until death do us apart. Who knows? You might find friends in the next 5 years and you'd be like, oh shit, I had really terrible friends. And you decide like you need to move on to the next friendship. You need to move on to something different.
I think people are pasta.
If you've only ever had like 3 or 4 friends, you don't really necessarily know if those are good or bad friends because your pool of experience is really limited. Those might be really shitty friends. Those might be really amazing friends. At least with friends though, you can at least add into that pool and you can figure it out. Relationships, you can't really do that unless you're like in the more open situation. Then you have a much better idea.
So for me, with the entire analogy you made there, I understood it. However, I feel like the element it's missing is that when I'm trying out pizza, lasagna, pasta, meatballs, whatever, when I'm trying out all these different things, I'm not developing history with these things, or I'm not investing much time into these things. I'm not catching feelings for these things. It's just one food after another. If we're going to people, there's an emotional connection that develops of each person, and your baggage is just getting bigger and bigger with each person you move to. So it's just one of those things where, sure, you might be with someone who isn't the best out there, but you've been together and you've had experiences together and you've had conversations which kind of just bond you. and you don't want to let that go for the sake of maybe there's something which on paper is better for me.
Of course, the emotional connection helps, but that's why I think it's important to figure out what kind of personality traits really do work with you, because you can make that emotional connection again. Again, this is just with me and my take relationship. I think the best way to go about it isn't necessarily to just be like 1 month here, 1 month there. I think it's to like spend like 6 months to a year with a person, get a good idea, and be like, have I gotten bored yet? And if you haven't, you keep going. And when you get bored, you're like, all right, let's move on.
See, with that's the thing, right? 6 months to a year going from each new person. For me, that'd be too much. Like if I was doing it efficiently, like every 6 months, a new person, for me, that'd be too much.
You don't have to be doing it efficiently. I think it's important not to do it efficiently. Like you spend some time with somebody like for 6 months to a year, and then you're just like, all right, cool. Now I'll just take some time alone and, we'll reflect on how that was. That was a whole ass experience. Like, let's reflect on that. But if somebody does come into your life and you're like, all right, cool, let's enjoy with this person, then you do that. I don't know. For me, it's just about like, I feel like I'm learning more and more about human beings and people. And maybe I guess the emotion, the connections I make with each person aren't as deep, but hopefully like when I figure out and find that kind of person that I'm actually looking for, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm willing to kind of slow down for this person. To me, it's like country. I want to figure out different countries. I want to live in different countries for a little bit of time. So then I have a really, like, I learn about their culture. I get some sort of history and some understanding with them. Obviously with countries, you can come back to them, so it's not quite the same.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But you learn about them. You learn about different cultures. You learn what you're interested in. And then you're like, now, you know what? This one, I'm going to stay with this one. From what I've learned and from the experiences I've had, this one's good. I know that from the experiences I've had. Not like, this one's probably good.
Okay. Well, what if you go through six people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, you finish with the last one and you're like, you're having your reflection time and you think, you know what? I've decided. Number 1 was the best.
That's life, man. You miss opportunities.
Yeah.
Well, that missed opportunity would have been missed if you weren't doing the damn experiment.
I'm not necessarily purposely saying just fucking kill off at a year. Like, there's a point in a relationship where you kind of just like, at least in my opinion, where you just like, all right, we're getting to that point, and you're like, you're starting to yawn it up a little bit. And at that point, you're like, all right, cool. I mean, this is
Basically,
probably time to move on.
Basically, simply saying like past for a quote unquote honeymoon period.
Not even necessarily the honeymoon period, where it's just like it's not interesting anymore. It's like this is.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean, because that's the period where usually you start to see whether it's going to be boring for the long run or whether it's going to still be interesting.
Exactly.
So yeah, past
that point, and you learn people, and you might be like, number 1 was the best, and you're like, cool, that's life. You might also just date like normal people and find out number 1 was the best, and you just left normally. Like that's a risk we all take when we're dating people. Every time you date someone, you put your emotions on risk. You put every of your feelings at risk, and you may fall deeply in love with this person, and something may happen, and it may end. And you may reflect upon your life and realize that was the best thing you ever had, and there's nothing you can do to get it back. The only thing is that I know that I made the decision to get rid of it.
Also, kind of like, even with that analogy, though, which you said that not number 1 was the best, you can only say that after looking back. I don't think it's really worthwhile to just stay on number 1 thinking, oh yeah, what if this ends up being the best is the issue. So
yeah,
like,
I don't
stopping and cutting off there, because if you stop on number 1 and go, yeah, because this may end up being the best I ever get, for all you know, number 2, 3, or 4 could have been like 10 times better.
That's my thing. It's like you settle, like you end up settling, and I don't want to just settle. I want to know, like, I want to have like some sort of grounding and reason to why I'm like, this is a good one. It's like I'm too early in. Like if I find a girl right now and I'm like, yo, she's it. I'm like, how the fuck do I know? Like, what do you mean she's it?
Like, I mean, yeah, you don't even know what it is at that point. Yeah, you don't even know what it is at that point.
What do you mean she's it? You don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree. Like finding someone. I mean, even saying that someone's it. That's for me. That's like the big difference.
Well, it's like not even it. It's just like she's good for the long run. Saying. She might be good for the long run. You know what I mean? It's like you look at it and like, no, she might be. I'm going to try and actually keep on to this.
She's good for the marathon and not the sprint.
Right. For me, what I'm thinking is like with your plan or with your like just idea that you've put across here, it's like you're testing the waters, testing like different people, I suppose. And like that makes sense. That's what dating is. Mm-hmm. But I feel like a part of a relationship is that like you eventually adapt to a person. right? It's exactly the same with the countries analogy you said as well. It's like, yeah, you can like go to a bunch of different countries and try and figure out which one you like best.
But you're not going to.
But I feel like a thing that often happens is you live somewhere and you adapt to that place.
Agreed.
So you become suited to it. And I feel like that's what happens in relationships as well.
Of course,
like,
but like
you become suited to it, even if it's not perfect or the best that you could have.
Okay, let's compare it to living in a house. Let's say you've lived in multiple houses. You always become suited in a house. But if you've lived in a bunch, like if you only lived in one house and you move to another one, you're like, yo, this is good. It's like, no, how do you fucking know that? It's like you get used to it just like any other house. If you've lived in 20 houses, you move to another house, you now know things about houses and you can be like, yo, this is actually good. You can know certain elements about it. You know things about neighborhoods. And the same with countries. It's like you adapt to different countries, but there's different cultures to different countries. That's what makes them interesting. You feel like, oh, there's lots of things that I actually enjoy about Hispanic culture, but there's a lot of things that like in certain like East Asian countries, I'm not a fan of their cultures. You adapt to their country. That's how you live there. That's how you be in the relationship for as long as you are, because you've adapted to it. If you don't adapt, you're not going to stay in it for as long, even for 6 months. You start to understand what makes it good, if you know what I mean. Like you get an understanding of what makes it. Because like when you're in a relationship and you don't have much experience, it's like you're like, oh, this is good. This part is good. This part's really good too. But like you don't know why it's good. You know what I mean? So you know, like when you're dating, you're like, I'm enjoying that. That's really good too. Oh, like there's something about that thing that she does that I like, but you don't know why because like you haven't been in enough relationships to understand why.
I think the houses example you gave was a really good example. Because like, I'm just thinking back, I've lived in 3 houses in my life. One of them I moved out when I was like 3, so I don't really remember it as well. Where I lived before, like, I knew then that it wasn't like perfect and I wanted to eventually live somewhere better. But it was like, I was adapted to it. I liked it. But I didn't know necessarily what a better situation would be like until I moved to this place where I'm at now. And it's like, okay, this is better. So I get that aspect of, it's not until you experience something better. But I feel like if you apply that then to anything in life, whether it's dating, your job or your career life, and even hobbies, I feel like in order for that mindset to work of I'm going to do this and hop to the next thing until I find the best thing, you have to have a point in your mind that you set out beforehand where you're going to stop doing that. Because otherwise you can spend your entire life doing that, always hoping you can find something better. And you might end up finding that you were never able to just relax and be satisfied with what you had. So I feel like the only way it works is you have to have a cutoff point. Like at this point, I will then decide out of all the options, what was the one I wanted most.
I think the important thing to do if you are going to take up my way of dating is you need to have another center outside of relationship. You need to be centered around yourself, because the only way to make that work is if like constantly finding new relationships isn't your main concern and worry. It's not something that's keep you up at night. Because if it isn't, then at some point you'll just naturally go, this person from what you'll just be naturally analyzing it. I think it shouldn't be like your main concern or anything. But I also think like it's also like not even just like it's good to find out what's great. It's also good to find out like what's bad. Like if you've only been in like 2 or 3 relationships, if somebody's doing something that you think is like a little bit toxic or weird, you don't know if that's a human nature thing or a them thing. Right? Like going back to the houses analogy, I've moved around a lot. I think I've moved around like 6 or 7 times in my life, something like that. So I've been through quite a few houses, and every house has issues. But I remember there was one house that I remember back specifically. Like it had its problems and I'd probably complain about them. But having lived in other houses since then, I'm like, yo, that was a really, really good house. Like now having been in other houses and seen the different creaks and the weird things, it's like, those seemed like bad quirks. It's like, that was just a kind of house thing, but that was a really good house. And, if I stuck with it and, do things like that, finding another house like that would be good. If I stick with something like that, that would be a good idea. You learn the good and the bads about people. You learn the things that are just not specific to that specific person, but are just like a general people thing. So you're just like, oh, is this person a shitty person or is this just like a human being thing? Because if it's a human being thing, you're like, oh, okay, cool, we can work through this. If you're just like, oh, you're just a shitty person, all right, cool, we can just let that be. We'll just walk away from that. Again,
yeah, that's like a good point.
Yeah, like I said, I have a weird take on relationships and dating and such. But like that's also my take with like jobs and stuff. I don't think I figured out exactly what my career path is. I think I've said it before. I'm like, I might wake up tomorrow and I'd be like, yo, I'm gonna be a fucking concept artist for Naughty Dog. That's my fucking passion and desire. I'm gonna spend the next 2-3 years studying art, like it, like my life depends on it. And then I might do that job and not get that job in Naughty Dog and be like, yo, that fucking sucked. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Let's try something else. And that's the whole point of life. You have 70, 80 odd years to figure shit out. You don't have to you don't have to just settle all the time. And I think that's kind of what our lives are best based upon, is just rushing and then settling down on something. It's like, you try around and, you give yourself some sort of limit. Be like, all right, cool. If I get to like X point, then we'll stop.
I mean, I very much agree with the idea of like, not trying to plan too far ahead, like, just doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I very much agree with that.
Just flowing through life. But yeah, I do agree. It probably is good to set a cutoff point and be like, once we get to like 50 or whatever, we probably should like fucking slow down a little bit and try to find a person. Like if you've been dating that often and you haven't found anyone, man, I don't know. I don't know who you've been dating, but they're fucking bad, I guess. But yeah, I'd say you set up a cutoff point. Just like this fucking podcast needs a cutoff point because it's been going for the very long time. Good luck me.
All good things must come to an end, as they say.
It's been quite a long one.
All good things. Well, you don't know if it's good unless you've tried enough things, Isaac.
Have you tried enough things?
Have I tried enough things?
I mean, how many is enough, Simi, really? Like, how many is enough?
That's the question. God, I need to do a fucking TED talk on my relationship stances, because apparently it's far more...
Chad talk.
Quite a lot of redacted information.
But that was fun. Fun discussion. Do you guys have any closing statements?
Bruh.
You know what? No.
Good statement. Very fucking nice. Isaac, do you want to give us some words of wisdom?
Just remember, marriage is a lie and you'll die one day, so search around so then you don't get stuck in something that you hate and enjoy your life.
How wholesome.
Well, did you want me to say, like, put cyanide on someone's doorknob, Simi? Is that what you wanted me to say?
Yes, what's your fucking closing statement?
Laugh, eat, love. There we go. Thank you for tuning in.
And my closing statement for this podcast is, I guess variety is the spice of life. And that doesn't just apply to relationships, it applies to everything. And don't settle, kids. Don't settle in your job. Don't settle in your career. Don't settle in your love life. Don't settle on your happiness, is all I can say. That's all I am trying to achieve in this little life of mine. Anyways, I hope you did enjoy this episode. If you want to find out what we're up to, then head over to twitter.com/unverishow. You can see updates from us and see when we post new content, new fun stuff to hopefully add some variety and spice up your life. And we also stream on Twitch. We get all live up in that bad boy. I think this week, this whole podcast will already be up. I think last stream, if I'm correct, I think we were playing golf in GTA. Depends on how things go on this week, but yeah, very exciting. We were very topical.
I thought we
play all the hip games. I'll listen to Isaac. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's old and see now. Play all the hip games. So yeah, if you want to check us out doing that, we do that every Friday at around 6-7 p.m. So feel free to check into that. And you can go check into all of our personal things, like our Twitters. You can go check out Connor, probably just reposting unusual videos. Isaac, his Twitter is barely ever actually activated. It's just in limbo. And Simi's...
Oh no, it's actually activated now.
And Simi's actually, is that word? An influencer, so he probably has content on there. So if you want something,
go check out my
Twitter. Go there. Yeah, I probably only time I post on Twitter is when I upload a video, whenever that happens. So yeah,
I mean, my Twitter is just Tetris and Animal Crossing now, so don't follow me. Seriously, why are you following me?
There you go. Away? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and tell us if you think and agree with our stances on relationships. Other than that, we've been your four boys, very fucking sexually diverse podcast we got right here. You four boys podcasting it up, and we'll see you in the next episode of the podcast. Take care.
Bye.